go a step further and help you sustain those opportunities and the doors that are open for you. Hey, welcome to the Oscar Mrs. Leadership Podcast, where we equip people with high-capacity tools to drive societal transformation. We believe in leadership so much that we are convinced that if you and I can join together in changing the leadership narrative, we'll be able to change the places where we are at for the better. We kept on telling you that, listen, you do not need a title before or after your name to lead. You can lead where you are. You can influence the space where you are in and make things better. And our small contributions will result in making where we are at our nations better, our companies better, our businesses better, our governments better, if we can work on the leadership question. I've told you before, if this podcast is helping you, sharpening your skill, making you a better leader, would you kindly go to my YouTube page, Oscar Mrs. Leadership Podcast, and subscribe to it. Don't just subscribe, share it with people in leadership spaces that would really benefit from our conversation. We are on all the major podcast platforms. Go in there and subscribe. Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, all the major podcast platforms. Go in there and subscribe. And again, if you want to listen to what I'm teaching and read it in greater detail, make sure that you go to Amazon and purchase my new book, Seed It Out, How Great Leaders Become Great Leader Makers. That's the best decision you'd have made for your leadership journey. Last week, we introduced the topic on becoming a displayer leader. Remember, we told you that a displayer leader is one who is a great leader maker. A displayer leader is one who makes other leaders. Doesn't raise followers, but makes other leaders. And this is how we defined it. We said a displayer leader grows other leaders. A displayer leader creates opportunities for the leaders that they're developing, intentionally creates opportunities. We also said a displayer leader opens doors of opportunity for the people that they're developing. Remember, I told you there are two things that make up the DNA of a displayer leader. The first one is purpose, that you've got to intentionally go out and make the decision to multiply yourself in the leaders that you're developing. Multiplying yourself in other people does not happen accidentally. You've got to do it intentionally. That's why it's important for you to purpose in your mind, purpose in your heart. And then we told you, think process. Process is the second DNA of a displayer leader. And we said process talks about you coming up with a plan, coming up with a leadership pipeline that helps you to be able to channel the kind of leaders that you want to see. Not only does it help you to channel the kind of leaders that you want to see, but it helps you to come up with a process that helps you to hold the people you're developing accountable to the things that you're teaching them. And that, again, is a plan. It doesn't just happen. You've got to go out and do that. So purpose and process. Purpose, intentionally multiply yourself. Process, come up with an intentional leadership pipeline that helps you to hold people accountable. Something that is predictable. Something that the people who you're developing know there are these hurdles and challenges and tasks that have been set for me. And I know if the more I surmount and overcome these hurdles and tasks, I know I'll be growing as a better leader. I'll be moving from point A to B to C. That's what that pipeline helps you to do. I'll challenge you. Would you come up with something that is intentional? Come up with a plan and move out to develop leaders around you. Open doors for them, create opportunities so that they become bigger and better. I want us to look at the makeup of a displayer leader. The makeup of a displayer leader. What makes up this displayer leader? What are the qualities of this displayer leader? That if you have these qualities, then you know I am a displayer leader. I'll share with you, I think, 2 or 3. But let's start with the first one. The first one is that you must be a platform creator. You can't become a great leader maker unless you're a platform creator. And creating platform means you will endorse those that you're developing. You will expose them to your networks. You are anchored. A platform creator is anchored on the desire to leave a lasting legacy. You're saying, this is not going to end with me. You've made a deliberate commitment that you will be the shoulders on which the next generation of leaders will stand on. Let me say that again. That a platform creator makes a deliberate commitment and says, my ceiling, my floor ceiling for the people I'm developing will be my shoulders. My shoulders will be what they will stand on as they move to their next step. You're not selfish. You're not insecure. You are so secure in your skin. And you're like, I'm here to make sure that I develop the next leaders. So I will create a platform. I will intentionally be a platform creator. That's what a displayer leader does. You endorse. You expose people to your networks. You see, when you decide to become a leader raiser and you commit to be a platform creator, there are a few things that you will do practically. And I think I've alluded to them. But let's look at them. One, you will be a door. You will become a door and not a ceiling. You say, I'm going to be a door. I'm not going to be a ceiling. You see, a door speaks of something that gives access to something else. That's what a door does. I mean, a door gives you access. Access to come in, access to go out. On the other hand, a ceiling is a limiting restriction that hinders something from rising. When you have a ceiling in a room, you can't go beyond that ceiling. It's a limiting restriction. A platform creator is a door and not a ceiling. And for you not to be a ceiling and be a door, you've got to be very, very secure. It means you've got to accept that the people you're developing in one given time, as you do your good job in developing them, they will become better. They'll have access to bigger, sometimes better opportunities than you do. And that shouldn't make you insecure because you've decided, I'm going to be a door and I'm not going to be a ceiling. Not only do you become a door and not a ceiling, but we've said this again, you create opportunities for people. Why do I say that? Because you then get to learn to be a legacy thinking leader who goes out of your way to create opportunities for those that you lead. And how do you do this? You do this by sharing your networks and your opportunities. It means you tag the people you're developing along. You're going to some platforms, you're meeting some of your key leading networks who would be able to benefit those that you're developing. You'll tag the people you're developing along and then introduce them, endorse them in those spaces. You're becoming an opportunity creator. And the third thing that you do is that you help people sustain influence, credibility, and access. The people you're developing, you say, I've opened the door. I've created opportunities for you. But then I'm going to go a step further and help you sustain those opportunities and the doors that I've opened for you. And I'll tell you why. Because legacy-minded leaders understand that just as continuous watering and fertilizing of plants help them grow healthy and strong, in the same way, networks and opportunities that we create and open for those that we are developing need to be stewarded with wisdom and discretion. So you're there to hold their hand and say, this is how you handle opportunities like this. This is how you behave in the presence of people that you're looking up to. This is what you do. When you do that, you're helping them sustain the influence and the access that you've given to them. That's what a displayer does. So number one, you are a platform creator. Number two, not only are you a platform creator, but you exhibit people value. You exhibit. In fact, you must exhibit people value if you're a platform creator. Leaders must value people in order to add value to people. You can't add value to people if you don't value people. You start by valuing people. Then from that standpoint, you'll be able to add value to people. And what I mean is simply this, that valuing people is understanding that people are more important than what they do. Let me say that again. It simply means that you understand that who people are is more important than what they do. Who they are is more important than what they do. Unfortunately, sometimes as we lead groups, we lead teams, we put all the premium in what we do. We don't care who they are. We don't care what kind of people they are, who they are. We don't show value and importance, for them to see, listen, I'm not just here for what I do, but the people in this organization value me. They care about who I am before what I do. You see, leaders understand that the people it is people that make the organizations to succeed. And I think it's important, you that is in the corporate, you that is in a church setting, you that is in a business setting, and you have teams that you're leading, you've got to understand that it's people that will make that organization to succeed. So when people feel valued, respected, and cared for, then they get highly motivated to work, and the bottom line becomes assured. They serve that vision with all their commitment because they realize, I am cared for, I'm respected, I'm valued. They move a step forward and they get to own the vision of the organization because they know the leaders in this space care about who I am, not just about what I do. You must exhibit people value. And many times you get leaders who will, just say all sorts and manner of things and treat the people they're leading in whichever way they want to, not understanding that, listen, treat those people well as the leader. Everything else will fall into place. So you must be a platform creator. And then number 2, you must exhibit people value. And how do you show that you're valuing people? 1, be simple. Be a simple person. What do I mean by being simple? Be able to step down from your pedestal and interact with people like human beings. Show a human face. Don't always project perfection. You can't be a leader when you insulate yourself from the people that you lead. Be simple. Show candor. Interact with the people. Let them know you're human. Talk to them. Walk into their offices. Interact with them. Be a simple leader that people know you're accessible. People can reach out to you. When you do that, you're exhibiting people value. And then unlock their shine. It's your responsibility as the leader to unlock their shine. Legacy-minded leaders are intentional about bringing out the best in the people they're developing. They go out of their way to unleash the potential and shine of those that are around them. That your work is to excavate the potential in those people. You're unlocking their shine. When they do well, you speak about it. You pat them on their back. You're determined to make sure that they become bigger, they become better. Unlock their shine. Don't be insecure as a leader. And then lastly, you model a posterity mentality. You must model a posterity mentality. And what do I mean by modeling a posterity mentality? Having a posterity mentality is simply doing more things that will outlive you and keep you speaking long after you have exited the leadership landscape. Let me say that again because this is super important. Having a posterity mentality is simply doing more things that will outlive you and keep speaking long after you have exited the leadership landscape. In fact, your long-term security is in how many people you have not only developed, but also displayed and given a platform of exposure. Your long-term security is not just in the people you've developed, but how many have you created a platform for them, displayed them, so that they can be able to thrive. You must be a platform creator. You must exhibit people value. When you do those things, then you're showing off qualities of a displayer leader, qualities of a great leader maker. If this is benefiting you, again, like I always say, please don't hold it, don't keep it to yourself. First, go to YouTube, Oscar Mrs. Leadership Podcast, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, make sure you share it to as many people as possible because we want to improve the leadership conversation. Go also to all the major platforms, podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast, amongst many. Subscribe and share with those close to you. And again, if you want to read in detail what I'm sharing today, what I've been sharing on this podcast, I'd welcome you to go to Amazon and then check out my latest leadership book, Seed It Out, How Great Leaders Become Great Leader Makers. I'll see you next week as you continue to build on this topic of becoming a platform creator, becoming a displayer leader, becoming a leader who makes other leaders great. See you next week.